some of the new things we've been treated to over the last year, I guess. This is relatively new. So when we're setting up a keyword campaign for like sponsored products, there's a little box there which allows you to sort by orders or sort by clicks. So this is looking at the historical data that Amazon's got, and it can show you, which of these particular keywords that you could target has historically generated a lot of clicks or a lot of orders, depending on your strategy. So you might be going for lots of orders, or you might be going for visibility. So you just want to get more people to your listing. So you might actually set up a different campaign where you're targeting clicks in that instance.
Historically, you probably had to do that in spreadsheets, right? But now in the console, you can navigate around better.
Yeah. So usually be from third-party tools that you might be able to get a little bit more from. Yep. In this instance, this is for product targeting. So for sponsored products again. Now, normally we would come out with a curated list of, exact ASINs that we would like to target of the competitors. In this instance, I guess there's really two ways of doing it. You could either come out with that really tight list of exact ASINs. Another way of doing it, you might be able to go after the whole category. But the category targeting can be a little bit loose, and you might actually see a fair bit of wasted ad spend depending on what's going on there. So a happy medium is Amazon's allowed what they call an expanded filter. So you sort of feed in that list of targets, and it will look at closely related ones to the ones that you've provided. So it's just expanding your reach on that product targeting a little bit, but not going too wide that you're targeting the entire category.
Yeah, that's as you say, good happy medium. So because you might know who your competition is, like you clearly know, and so you pick them, but then it's going to pick others like them, but not go too broad for you. So
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
You might not see this on your account yet, though. I've noticed that this shows up on some of our accounts, but not others. So they're obviously rolling it out quite slowly. But next couple of months, it should be everywhere, I'd say.
And just to check, do you need to change anything in your user settings for that, or it just pops up?
No, it just pops up. You either will have that little expanded checkbox there, or you won't. So, yeah.
Cool. All right.
This one is for sponsored display. So what we've noticed is recently Amazon's been moving some of the features that you would only find in DSP onto the native platform. So in this instance, you can look at audiences. So normally for the audiences, you would only be able to do retargeting for people that have visited your listing. In this instance, you can now look at interests. You can sort people by whether they're in market, or you could look at life events, for example, whether they got birthdays or they're looking for gifts, or they're getting married, so all those sorts of things. So in this little example on the right hand side, I've just typed in yoga, and it's given me some examples there for people that are looking for yoga equipment, or they've got a lifestyle interest of yoga enthusiasts, or they're in market for yoga clothing or yoga blocks or yoga mats, etc. So it just allows you to have more flexibility and more focused targeting on people that are actually interested in the product you're selling.
Yeah,
which is great. So
it's kind of like the third option, right? You've got the specific search terms that people are typing in to find a product. Then you've got the second one is around, hey, I'm going to target that particular ASIN there, and then now I'm targeting this audience, and so it's a little bit higher up the funnel, as it were. But it's a good way to start building out or expanding who's going to see your ads. So,
yeah, that's right. Just expand the reach. Yep.
Okay.
Again, this is for sponsored display. Amazon never really told us, but I believe that the initial way that this used to work is optimizing these particular campaigns for page visits. And it wasn't until, maybe a year ago that they allowed us to jump into the ad group, and you have to manually change. I don't want to optimize for page visits. I want to optimize for conversions. So it's going after people that'll actually buy rather than more of a visibility or brand awareness play. But now they're actually allowing us even a third option there for optimizing for optimal reach, because this is another thing they've bought from the DSP, because on the native platform, you've got everything based on a CPC, a cost per click. Whereas if you're optimizing for reach, this is what they call a VCPM campaign, or viewable impressions. So you're paying per 1,000 impressions, which is the DSP model. So yeah, just another way of doing things, but at least they're now allowing us to choose this at the time that you launch the campaign, rather than having to launch them all and then sort of double handle everything by going in there and having to change it manually in the ad group. So it's great that they got this on the front end now.
Yeah. And so, and again, that, depending on where you are, if you're launching, might be different to if you're just looking to optimize and you want to make sure it's getting in front of those that are going to buy. So
absolutely. Yep.
Okay, cool.
This one here is again from another option from DSP, where you would normally only be able to set up a display ad where it would just fetch the hero image from the main listing, and that was the only thing that you'd be able to customize on it. Now they're allowing some of the things which we can't have in DSP. So if you wanted to add a logo, like the Traeger has added the logo for the one, they got an example here. They've not customized the image, so it is pulling the main image from their listing. And then they have added a headline there. So it says, taste the wood-fired difference. So essentially you can set up multiple versions of this particular display ad and split test and see which one's actually converting the best. Do people see your brand and notice that and buy more on that one compared to not showing the logo, for example? So yeah, more flexibility there.
Good.
Yeah. Contextual targeting. So again, it's just expanding the reach usually, but it's to set this up, you've got to actually go in and set up a contextual targeting campaign. So you've got a checkbox there. And then when you go into the categories, instead of targeting a whole category, you actually just choose that dynamic segments, which will show up right at the top of the list. And this will, show the ad for people that are looking for similar products to what you're advertising again. So it's a little bit more, it's similar to the previous example where, you're trying to keep the targeting a little bit more focused on similar products to yours rather than going very wide on the category. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that all ties into where we transition to next. So we've got one more thing here.
One more, yep. So the video campaign that we saw before, when I typed in yoga mat, you had it usually middle of the page, but it was down the bottom of the page. You can actually do video targeting based on products. So you can actually enter ASINs, and it's not clear as to exactly where they're going to show up. Sometimes I've seen it show up on the actual detail page, but it can be other like keywords that the product particularly ranks on, for example. But essentially you can sort of target your competitors now with the videos that you're running. So they're just, Amazon is very much still, experimenting with the placements as to that. So it could show up in a number of different places. Yeah.
So it's an interesting point there, Justin, and around this there's been a bit of a theme here of able to target closer to like-for-like competitors, okay? And so one is on the proactive front, on the conquest front, you can go after your competitors, but there's also an aspect where your competitors could be coming after you. So you can also have a defense strategy as well with these new changes, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially for sponsored display, for example, so if you've got multiple ASINs, you could actually just target your own and actually take up those ad positions so that your competitors aren't showing up in those ones. That'll push them out, and it might be running at a slightly higher ACoS between people jumping between your own listings, but it's a good defensive strategy. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also with some of that display, given you can change the image and the headline, you can actually be doing things like saying subscribe and save, hook, or hey, it goes well with this product, so you can look at cross-selling as well. So there's other good options there.